So first thing first, I want to thank my lawyers. I want to thank the jurors. I want to thank the judge, and I want to thank the respectful press. I really, really appreciate that. And I want to thank everybody at home supporting me. Because she sued me for $24 million.
She was recording you. Why does it matter?
Because she's a security guard and I'm going to a doctor's office. It definitely mattered.
You were causing a disturbance. Maybe she wanted to record you.
I wasn't causing a disturbance.
And why were you concerned?
Because I'm pregnant and this girl's about to fucking beat my ass. Hello?
Hello. You said she's bigger than you? Is that correct?
Absolutely.
How do you know that?
I mean, look.
I'm looking. I don't agree with that. What is your basis? Are you saying she's physically big?
On September 2nd, the drama in Los Angeles exploded when a jury delivered a game-changing verdict. Cardi B walked away victorious in a jaw-dropping $24 million lawsuit filed by her ex-security guard, Emani Ellis. The courtroom tension was sky-high, but when that gavel hit, Cardi's name came out clean and clear, not guilty of assault or battery. Stepping out of the courthouse in Alhambra, the rap queen faced cameras with fire in her voice. "I did not touch that woman," she declared, eyes locked and confidence blazing, shutting down every whisper that tried to drag her name through the mud. Reporters couldn't get enough, and the crowd outside went wild at her fearless stance.
And I'm not even playing around. I will, even if I'm in my deathbed, I swear to God, I will say it in my deathbed. I did not touch that woman. I did not touch that girl. I didn't lay my hands on that girl. And with that being said...
But Cardi didn't stop there. Oh no, she made it crystal clear that the days of letting people come at her unchecked are done. With that same Bronx edge she's known for, she warned, "This time, I'm gonna be nice. The next time someone tries a frivolous lawsuit against me, I'm going to countersue. I'm going to make you pay because this is not okay."
With that being said, this time around, I'm going to be nice. The next person to try to do a frivolous lawsuit against me, I'm going to countersue. And I'm going to make you pay. Because this is not okay. I think people have like this misinterpretations of celebrities. Like it's like, oh, well, we could ask for this and they're going to settle. You don't work at home and you don't work all day and you don't work for your money to give out your money. So don't ever think that I'm just gonna give you my money that I work hard for.
Cardi didn't just win in court, she flipped the script, putting every hater and opportunist on notice. This whole case went back to a messy clash in 2018 when Emani Ellis claimed she was roughed up by Cardi B outside a Beverly Hills OBGYN clinic while Cardi was 4 months pregnant. The story had been recycled for years, fueling gossip blogs and court filings, but when the jury looked at the facts, it all crumbled. Ellis couldn't prove a single accusation. Not assault, not battery, not emotional distress, not even negligence. It was all smoke with no fire, and the courtroom made that loud and clear. Cardi, though, wasn't just relieved, she was heated. She made it known that she's done being treated like a walking cash machine. Celebrities might look glamorous, but Cardi ripped apart the myth with sharp words that cut through the noise. "You don't work at home, and you don't work all day, and you don't work for your money to give out your money?" she snapped, her voice dripping with frustration. "So don't ever think I'm just gonna give you my money that I work hard for." With that, Cardi didn't just defend herself in court. She shut down an entire mindset that's been haunting stars for years. Even with all the chaos inside that courtroom, Cardi B proved she could still keep her cool. Instead of fanning the flames, she urged her millions of fans not to harass Emani Ellis online, a move that showed she wasn't about to let this circus spiral into cyberbullying. At 32, the rapper made it clear she just wants to put this all behind her and keep it moving, no matter how messy Ellis tried to make it. But Ellis wasn't backing down easily. She painted herself as deeply traumatized, telling the court that Cardi had clawed her cheek with long nails, spat on her, and hurled nasty words after supposedly catching her recording video at a Beverly Hills medical office. It was a shocking picture she tried to paint, one dripping with scandal, but it didn't hold up under the spotlight. At first, Ellis demanded a jaw-dropping $24 million in damages, even tossing in claims that Cardi used her fame to get her fired. That accusation got tossed out, but she still pushed forward with assault, battery, and emotional distress charges. When it came time to testify, Cardi admitted, yes, there was a heated verbal altercation, but she stood her ground and swore under oath that she never laid a hand on Ellis. And the kicker? She reminded the jury she was 4 months pregnant at the time, hyperprotective of her privacy, and in no mood to let anyone invade her space. Cardi's testimony turned the tide, raw, real, and impossible to ignore. Cardi B broke it down for the jury with blunt honesty. She reminded them she was only about 130 pounds and pregnant at the time, hardly in a position to be throwing hands. According to her, the real issue started when Ellis had her phone out, allegedly filming without consent and flat out refusing to step back when asked. That invasion of privacy set off a heated exchange, but when it came to actual evidence, the courtroom was left with nothing solid. Her lawyers drove the point home. There was no security footage, no physical proof, nothing tying Cardi to Ellis's claims. Even Cardi's nails became a hot topic. Long, rhinestone-detailed, opal-shaped tips that looked flashy but showed zero signs of damage. If Cardi had really scratched Ellis, wouldn't there be broken stones or jagged edges? That detail stuck with jurors. Ellis tried to add weight by bringing in a plastic surgeon who testified that he treated her in 2022 for a hypersensitive cheek scar. But under questioning, he admitted he couldn't say for sure that it came from Cardi. That left the jury side-eyeing her entire story. Still, Ellis fought to keep her version alive, insisting she was just doing her job when Cardi misread the situation. On the stand, she recalled Cardi snapping. She turned back around and said, "Why the expletive are you telling people that you seen me?" The moment was tense, but it only highlighted how flimsy her case really was. Cardi B stood tall before the jury and fired back with her truth. Yes, voices were raised, yes, words were flying, but she swore she didn't touch Ellis. According to her, the whole blow-up barely lasted a minute before a receptionist stepped in and shut it down. After that, Cardi simply went to see her doctor, leaving the drama in the waiting room. But of course, the courtroom couldn't resist veering into chaos. Out of nowhere, Cardi was grilled about supposed gang affiliations and even her hair. She didn't flinch. "They're wigs," she shot back, shutting down the nonsense with one sharp line. Her legal team was quick to jump in, objecting hard against the gang talk, calling it irrelevant, unfair, and a clear attempt to smear her character in front of the jury. And just when the dust seemed to settle, another rumor bubbled up, whispers of a possible new pregnancy. That's when Cardi's patience snapped. Looking straight at a reporter, she barked, "Stop disrespecting me," before appearing to fling her pen toward the press section. Cameras caught every second, and now that fiery moment is blowing up all over Instagram, replayed a million times like a viral clip straight out of a reality show. Cardi wasn't just defending herself in court. She was putting her whole persona on display, raw and unfiltered. Despite the courtroom chaos and viral pen throw moment, Cardi B's lawyers kept hammering down on one crucial point. There was never any hard proof tying her to Ellis's claims, no video footage, no physical evidence, and no credible witness testimony could back up the accusations. All the prosecution had was Ellis's word against Cardi's, and with every cross-examination, her story seemed to crumble just a little more. The defense highlighted inconsistency after inconsistency. At one point, Ellis said she was left with visible injuries right away, yet she never filed a medical report until years later. Then came the question of motive. Was this really about justice, or was Ellis chasing a payout? Cardi's team reminded the jury she was demanding $24 million, a figure so outrageous it had the courtroom buzzing. By the time final arguments rolled in, the energy had shifted. Jurors were leaning forward, skeptical eyes fixed on Ellis, while Cardi sat calm, even cracking a smile as her lawyers dismantled the accusations piece by piece. The vibe in that room was no longer about whether Cardi lashed out, it was about whether Ellis had spun a tale too big to hold together. And when the verdict came down, it was clear. Ellis's claims had collapsed under the weight of their own holes, leaving Cardi free to walk out stronger than ever. The courtroom may have cleared Cardi B, but the media circus outside made sure the story didn't die down. Within hours of the verdict, headlines were flying across blogs and news outlets, each trying to frame the case in their own way. Some platforms celebrated it as a major victory for Cardi, painting her as a woman who stood up to false accusations and came out on top. But others twisted the narrative, suggesting the jury's decision was more about her star power than the strength of her defense. On social media, the viral pen throw clip became its own storm, plastered across Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok with captions like "Cardi loses it in court and she can't control her temper." Even though the pin moment had nothing to do with the actual charges, it became clickbait gold, overshadowing her legal win. Entertainment blogs also fanned the flames by recycling Ellis's most dramatic claims: scratches, spit, and insults, without highlighting that none of it was proven. The effect? A divided public, with half the crowd cheering Cardi's resilience, while the other half kept whispering, "Did she really get away with it?" For Cardi, the court case might be over, but the battle for her image is still raging, and every headline, every viral clip, every shady post keeps her right in the center of the storm.
What? Hey,
Security heavy.
what does that mean?
Like she just looks a little like she could protect the building. I don't want a guy that I work with to know I'm going to a vagina doctor.
Did you call her fat?
No, I was calling her a babe.
Once the dust settled, it wasn't the jury that had the loudest voices, it was the fans. Online, the split was crystal clear. Team Cardi came out swinging, praising her for standing tall against what they saw as a money grab. "She handled that like a boss," one fan tweeted, while another wrote, "Cardi winning in court and shutting down haters? Icon behavior." Her supporters flooded timelines with clips of her walking out of court smiling, declaring it proof that she's untouchable. But on the flip side, critics weren't letting her off easy. They claimed the trial highlighted the same messy energy that has followed Cardi since her rise to fame. Threads blew up accusing her of being too hot-headed, with some users pointing to the pen throw clip as evidence. "She might have won in court, but in public opinion, she lost control," one comment read, racking up thousands of likes. Even blogs fanned the fire, running polls asking if Cardi was vindicated or protected by celebrity privilege. The results were split down the middle, with debates raging in the comment section like a full-on fan war. The wildest part? This wasn't just about a lawsuit anymore. It became a battle over Cardi's entire persona, her legacy, and whether she could ever escape the chaos that seems to follow her. While fans were busy clashing online, the industry itself gave a mixed response that spoke volumes. A few of Cardi B's closest allies wasted no time showing love, reposting her courtroom victory on their stories, dropping emojis, and reminding the world that Cardi always comes out swinging. Rap peers like Offset and a handful of collaborators quietly liked posts celebrating her win, sending the message without even needing words, but the silence from other big names was deafening. Some stars who once called Cardi a sister stayed quiet, not a single congratulatory post in sight. Industry insiders whispered that many didn't want to get caught in the middle, worried about aligning with her after the trial's messy headlines. Even a couple of high-profile producers who've worked with her before dodged questions in interviews, brushing off the topic with vague answers like, "We'll see what happens with the music." Behind the scenes, the verdict also sparked chatter among executives about whether the lawsuit, true or not, could affect her brand deals. One insider said sponsors are watching closely, concerned about how Cardi's fiery moments, like that viral pen toss, play out in public perception. So while Cardi celebrated her freedom from a $24 million lawsuit, the music world's reaction revealed another truth. She might have won in court, but keeping the industry fully in her corner could be a whole new fight. With the trial behind her, all eyes turned to Cardi B's next big move, the release of her sophomore album, Am I the Drama, set to drop September 19th. The title alone suddenly felt like prophecy, almost too on the nose after weeks of courtroom fireworks. Industry watchers are already buzzing that the lawsuit, the pen throw clip, and all the chaos might actually fuel curiosity instead of killing hype. But it's a gamble. On one hand, drama has always been part of Cardi's brand. She thrives in the spotlight, even when it's messy. Fans who've been riding with her since Bodak Yellow say the trial only makes her look more battle-tested, more authentic, and more ready to clap back through music. They're expecting raw bars, direct shots at haters, and maybe even a nod to the courtroom showdown itself. On the other hand, critics argue that the noise could drown out the music. Labels invest millions into rollouts, and execs hate distractions they can't control. Some insiders fear the lawsuit chatter will overshadow the actual album, turning reviews into gossip-laced think pieces instead of focusing on the songs. One A&R insider put it bluntly, "If the music doesn't slap hard enough, All this courtroom drama becomes the headline, not the art. Whether am I? The drama rises as her redemption anthem or gets dragged as another messy moment could decide Cardi's next chapter in hip-hop. At the end of the day, Cardi B walked out of that courtroom with her head high, her pockets intact, and her name clear. But the noise isn't going anywhere. What started as a $24 million battle turned into a spectacle that touched every part of her image, her temper, her music, her brand, even her future in hip-hop. And now the question isn't whether Cardi won, she did. It's what she does next with all this spotlight. Her sophomore album, Am I the Drama, couldn't be arriving at a wilder time. Fans are already dissecting every teaser, every snippet, convinced the bars will be full of subliminal shots aimed at Ellis, the critics, and anyone who dared to doubt her. Meanwhile, skeptics are waiting to pounce, calling her too messy to ever truly dominate again. It's the perfect storm, and Cardi thrives in storms. The truth is, Cardi B has always been bigger than the courtroom. She built her career on surviving chaos, turning drama into art, and never letting haters write her story for her. Whether Am I the Drama cements her as untouchable or fuels another round of backlash, one thing is clear. The world will be watching, waiting, and talking about Cardi B every step of the way. And if you want every twist, every clapback, every insider whisper that the mainstream outlets won't say out loud, you already know where to be. BarzBuzz has you covered.